as lawyers here in the Strip do feel deeply about the absence of justice and equity. Simply, occupation contradicts the justice and the equity, which can't be achieved under occupation by any standard. I'm practicing as a lawyer for almost 12 years. Mainly, I work in the military courts. We used till before the Intifada till the capacity of 20-25 files per month. And during the Intifada, we have the capacity of more than 100-150 files. And as I said, right now we have more than 600 files under work. Of course, we do deal with all kinds of cases, the political cases, which means from throwing a stone till membership and throwing hand grenades and these things of the Israeli army. It is very difficult, to work as a lawyer under such circumstances, under such pressure. From the legal point of view, and from the practical point of view, and from the personal. From the legal point of view, you as a lawyer do feel that you are cheating yourself if you feel that you are dealing with legal standard. Like the administrative detention cases, there is no charges, it's only informations. And even these informations, most of it secret. So you as a lawyer do confront with a ghost. The lawyer don't have the inspiration from God or from the faces of the people. He do have these things mainly from the materials, and there is no material. So you do feel simply handicapped from the legal point of view. In the practical point of view, I want to say that in the 85 I made 3 complaints about torture for some detainees who were held and investigated. And at least I saw 2 of them when I asked to release them on bail. One of them was like a paint. Most of his face and hair and his overhaul was painted with the blood, and he has a cut almost 12 centimeters. So I thought directly that this is because of the Shabak, the secret services. So when he came in front of the judge, he said, the Shabak didn't do that for me. I did it by my own self. He just hit his head with the edge of the wall during the investigation. And when the judge asked him why, he said simply, I can't bear anymore the torture. And I think that in death I can have rest much, much more better than to be tortured by the Shin Bet. At that time I raised complaint for these 3 people, and the result was 2 months under interrogation. There was no charge, but simply one of the interrogators said to me, you know what's your fault? You believe there is democracy under occupation. Another thing, in the very beginning of the Intifada, I complained about 9 cases. It was beating till death by the army for some people from Jabalia, Gaza, Borage, and these areas. And I'm sure 100% because of them I was under administrative detention, because it made a big scandal. And even the Israeli military court, which sued these soldiers who committed this act, they found them guilty. The last case was of Hani Shami, which he was beaten till death in one of the Israeli military army in Jabalia. And one of the soldiers who participated in this beating, he committed suicide a week ago. And it was published in the Israeli newspapers, and he said that his conscience was so upset, and for this cause he committed suicide. And the personal standard, this puts you in many aspects, in many ways, in sort of problems. First, you can't separate between your professional work and your emotions, which is something very hard to separate, mechanically. And second, you do feel that you are doing a sort of social work, mainly. Giving warm hand, good words, encouraging words, and try to play the role of messenger, between some who are isolated in Ansar 3 in the desert, without newspapers, without books, without radios, without any kind of education or communication with the outside world. And even family visit they don't have. Some of them already right now, they are for more than 16 months, they didn't receive family visit. So, of course, also, to follow here and there the cases, the system of the court, it's a crazy system. I can simply say they lost the balance and direction, with dealing in the juridical system. They don't notify us about the time of the cases. For months, they don't even notify the detainee whether he is administrative or regular detainee. You can find in one day 12 cases for you distributed in 2 or 3 or 4 courts, and you don't know where to follow, here or there, and simply in the morning when you go to the courtroom, you find the list of those who are supposed to be sentenced that day. We as lawyers, feel it's something very hard, to work. And in the very beginning of the Intifada, we decided just to go and open a strike. And the Lawyer Bar Association here in the Strip was one of the first who went in strike. This was after the Intifada 2 weeks almost, on the 23rd of December 87. And the title was, "There is organized official crimes are committed and practiced by the occupation." and we can't be legal cover of it. So we went in this strike on two exceptions. First, the expulsion cases. Second, administrative detention cases, which was minority at that time. But we were expecting, to be increased. And we have that stand for 11 months. After that, we decided to go back, not because the conditions were improved or the situation began to be better or improved. Not at all, but we do feel that there is a sort of real social and national necessity for us to be back. And at least you as a lawyer be an eyewitness for such period, and you can't forbidden people from your services. Even I can give an example like a doctor whom they bring to him someone who's almost dead, but he have to try, to do whatever he can. He is not responsible about the result, but mainly he has an obligation to do whatever he can do. I'm not speaking about the detainees like the people, I don't mean that at all. But I'm stressing that what we can do, something very small. That's it. To make any law, there isn't any sort of legislative council or something like that. It depends upon what the army in need to. And to make a law, simply they write down whatever they want, and what it needs, only signature from the commander of the southern area. So he sign it, and by that it becomes a law. Simply as they recently amended the period of the administrative detention. It used to be the maximum for 6 months, and it can be renewed. So right now, almost 2 weeks, they amended this order, and according to it, they can give 1 year administrative detention period, and it can be extended after that. This is the last example they did, in amending the laws or making the orders. Also, it includes that in the past, before this amendment, anyone can make an appeal during his administrative detention for 6 months, or even if it was 5 months. Right now, any who have a period less than 6 month administrative detention, he don't have the right to appeal. Only after 6 months, after he served the 6 months, he can then have the right to appeal. Security orders. For example, they do accept as a propaganda material any material against Israel, Zionism, or Judaism. This is something very wide. To that extent, once I said to the judge, I'm not a strict Muslim, but according to what is written in Al-Quran, there is many things against Judaism, to my sorry. So I think that you have to initiate order to forbid him Al-Quran from being with the people. Merchant of Venice of Shakespeare is forbidden material because of Sherlock. Which is, something can't be understandable, at all. If you go to one of the Tel Aviv or Jerusalem libraries, for example me, and I go inside, find some books, and I want to buy it, it can be allowed for you to buy it from Tel Aviv or Jerusalem, and it can be forbidden in Gaza. And you can be brought to a military court, charged and sued and sentenced for it. Which is, something, simply they interfered in all aspects of life. And the mentality of occupation, and it is something objectively going more deep and deep and deep inside them. And they want to do through these small or big things and obstacles to turn the life of the people like a hell. Also, if you are speaking about taxation, in Britain there is all the new rule says no taxation without representation. We do have the same obligations in taxation like the Israelis, and we don't have any of the privileges they have. And simply you can compare between Gaza, Jabalia or Khan Yunis and Ashkelon, or even the settlements in Gaza, restricting people from leaving Gaza Strip to abroad. There is not less than 60,000 people who are not allowed to leave abroad. I do doubt seriously that this number is active. Because if 1/10 of this number is active, it will turn the political face for the Strip completely. But this goes, in haphazard way, just to make the life so hard, so difficult for the people. Me and Tamar Perik, she is an Israeli lawyer, it took us 11 months till we managed to have a permission to almost handicap person to live outside for further medical treatment.
This is Muhammad Abu Akr? No?
Who?
Muhammad Abu Akr?
No.
From Gaza. From Gaza. We heard a story that the demolition of houses, the man who was here a moment ago said that they used to give 48 hours notice before they'll demolish houses. And now they've, maybe this is still technically the law, but that they ignore it. Can we talk about that? And also he mentioned that they sometimes bring the 48-hour notice on a Thursday night or on a Friday, so that the Sabbath will be part of the 48 hours.
No, the problem is not this exactly. I do think the problem goes mainly of the policy and the right of demolishing houses. Such punishment, I do accept it simply as collective punishment. It's completely inhuman. You can punish someone, by sending him to jail, to sentence him whatever you want according to the security orders. But if a family like, for example, Saeed Matar, whom I do represented recently. He was in jail for 7 months and he killed collaborator. He wasn't at his home. And they demolished the home, living in it, 17 persons. Why? Even according to the Israeli security orders, it says this: they do have the right to demolish someone's home if he prepared for an operation when he was in this home, or he went to do the operation from this place, or the family knew and cooperated with him in specific legal offense. They can demolish the house. This Saeed Matar, he committed the killing for the cooperator when he was inside Ansar 3 for 7 months. How can they demolish the house? Second, the problem goes like that. I mean, most of the detainees, they don't own the house. I mean, here we have the most in density populated area in the world, almost, even before Hong Kong. In one home, like the Gherbawi family, lives in it 4 or 5 families. I mean, brothers, the fathers, etc. They're all in one home. Let us say one of them committed this, and he is not an owner. He just living with his father and his brothers and the family. What they committed, I mean, these people, to demolish the house. It's something, I mean, unhuman completely. And this is something, I mean, day by day goes. Before they used to practice that upon people who committed killing. Right now it's quite enough that you throw cocktail Molotov to demolish your house. Although that, I can say to you that, of course, the people, I mean, from the economical, practical point of view, because of the procedures all the time the Israelis are practicing upon the people, the humiliation, the violations of human rights, the curfews, which is in some places go to more than 23 days per month. Although many were killed, many were injured, but the people tired, maybe bleeding. But in the same time, they do have that sort of strategical optimism. I mean, deeply inside, they are convinced deeply that they are going forward, more near to their goal. They know that the situation will not be solved in 1 month, 1 year, 2 years. This is something almost the street do understand it well. But the Intifada tend to be style of life for the people. And it's more controlled, more organized, and more deep, and much more stronger, even. The crimes the occupation committed already, known, obvious, and all the world almost knows about it. But I concentrate more, and I'm interested more. I mean, to work 1 hour in the field, it is much better than working 1,000 hour in a closed, cool room. What we are need to, I mean, simply and in brief, that the Intifada goes on to be more deep, more stronger, and to make the occupation, I mean, do feel deeply his existence here, do cost him, except he do insist that the Misada mentality do control him. This girl, she's 5 years and 4 months old. On the 12th of August, simply, she was with her father and some friends of her father, sitting just in front of their home in Khan Yunis refugee camp. It was about 7 in the afternoon, before the curfew, the daily curfew at 8. The army came and arrested 4 guys from that area. The situation was calm, ordinary, and there wasn't any sort of problems. So they arrested these 4 people, put them in a jeep, and they summoned another soldiers. So another 3 jeeps came to the area. At that time, some women, began to ask the soldiers just to release these guys, because actually and really, there wasn't any sort of problems at that area. And the father was one of those who talked with them to release the guys. So they said to him, we will talk with them for 5 minutes and then they will be released. So he turned back, he stand with his daughter in front of their home, and the last jeep, from a distance almost 100 meters or a little bit more, there was some shooting. This Buthaina just fell on the floor. Her father thought at the very beginning that she was shocked or afraid of the shooting. So he knelt down just to take it. She wasn't able to move at all. He finds some blood stains on her right arm, and he took it with a friend to the hospital. They arrived to the hospital and she was checked by a local doctor at Nasser Hospital, which is, 300 meters away from them. And the doctor said to him, I'm really sorry because she is already dead. She received 3 bullets, 2 in the chest, 1 in the heart directly, and the 3rd was in her right arm. So they just took her, buried her. Forbidding ambulances and UNRWA cars from entering to some places to take injured people, from the army by live ammunitions or plastic bullets. It's almost a daily and usual experience. And all the time they do claim that either they deny any injuries or they say for security reasons we can't allow you to get in. So there isn't the minimum of respecting the life of the people who exist. And what they practice. I mean, it's completely someone who is suffering from schizophrenia, how he practices and how he says. If we do agree that the Palestinians do have the right of their self-determination, and they do have the right of having their own independent state, and this is according to the UN Charter, UN decisions, and according to the international law, I do think that the Palestinians do have the right to use whatever tactics against the occupation they do think it is right to use, till they put an end for the occupation. Which means, and you can say, you can see it, you can feel it, you can smell it. This Intifada tactic, which is practiced till now, it will be not the only choice and the only tactic which will be used, by the Palestinians till they achieve their goals. So I do think the pressure is too much by the Israelis. The people do suffer the maximum any nation can bear. And everyone do feel simply there is nothing to lose anymore. And everyone feels that he's back to the last war. I'm saying that I can give an example, simple one, for the man who did the bus accident in Jerusalem, Abdel Hadi name, whom I do represent it. His family said to me in a clear way, he was never involved in politics. Never he belonged to this or that group. He was a completely ordinary person. Of course, as any, participated maybe in a demonstration, throwing a stone, burnt tire, a confrontation with the army, something like that. But his life began to change 11 months before this accident, when one of his closest friends was shot by the army in the spine, and he was paralyzed. And he began to go and pay visit to him from his workplace near Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, because his friend was at Al-Maqasid hospital. Even that, according to his wife, affected their economical situation for these expenses for transportation. A week or 10 days before the accident, his life began to change, dramatically and in a unique way, because his friend even was not able to speak. He was more depressed, more tense, He waited till his wife gave a baby boy. one night before his accident, and he said take good care of him, and I leave him a good reputation, and he went and did that operation. So I mean, all this pressure, objectively I mean, when you push the people to one corner and you let them do feel that there is nothing to lose, simply they can, I mean, react in a way unexpected. Of course, when you speak about political groups here and there is no political group moving in the street. Individuals are moving. And this general atmosphere do affect, I mean, the mentality of the people. I mean, either political figures or groups. It do affect them. And for this, I'm expecting a sort of more violent actions against the Israeli army and the occupied territories, which has I mean, of course, much more losses for us, and lives, conditions of life. But I mean, the people are so willing to go on, and you do feel that they have a sort of strategical optimism of the future.